Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Just proud of our team after looking back and watching the film. I think did a lot of great things out there, particularly on offensively, defensively. Disappointing in some of the special team aspect, but nothing we can't correct. So we're happy to come out of the game with the win. Put up some pretty good numbers, and looking forward to Miami. I know they do a great job down there. Got a lot of great athletes. Coming off a big win as well last week. And we know there's a lot of hype surrounding this game this weekend with College Game Day here, and we're glad we're playing at home again this week. But we're excited again just to play. I mean, it was awesome to be out there on the field last Saturday night, and there's been a long time coming to be out there and get on that field. And some days you didn't know if you were going to be able to make it to that point, and to get out there and play was fun. It's fun for our guys, and we're looking forward to an opportunity to play this week.
Coach Fred Calgill from WLKY. What did you learn about your team Saturday, and what are some of the things you'd like to see get better?
Well, I think coming into the game that we thought we'd have an offense that could put up some good numbers. We got some talent out there at wide receiver and running back and tight end wise, and Cunningham we thought played well, and so that I think that was to be expected. We anticipated us playing that way, and that was good. I think one of the question marks was defensively, were we able to get better? And I think we answered that question Saturday night. Our defense played really well. They ran to the ball. Did not give up maybe two explosive plays. They got 21 points, but two of those were inside the 5, special team related, and so I thought they played well. We obviously got to work on our kicking game. There's some aspects. We had some new guys out there that was first time playing, and we anticipate them getting a lot better with that. And, and then, scheme wise, doing some different things with that to help ourselves out. So, but overall, pleased really with the performance. And again, looking forward to this week.
Coach Pat Jaggers, ESPN Louisville. As you look forward to Miami, what have you seen from them thus far? And just give us a breakdown of the challenge they provide your team.
Well, I think there's a lot been said about, some of the transfers that they brought in there. They're impact players, particularly the quarterback, and the two defensive ends. Those three guys in particular, I think, have really stood out in week one. King is a player that's, really was hyped up at Houston, and deservedly so. Was an outstanding player there, and then come to Miami, and you really interested to see how they utilized him the other night. But we know he can run. He's got a good arm as well. He's a playmaker. He's 16 or 17 straight games where he's thrown a touchdown and ran a touchdown. It's pretty remarkable. He's hard to contain, I think, but then you couple that with their running backs, and they don't just have one; they have several running backs that I think are very explosive runners. They have speed and they can break tackles. And then we know they have some skill out there at wide receiver that can knock the top off and catch the football. So, and then defensively, the two defensive ends that transferred in are very athletic, strong. They have all the attributes you want to have at a defensive end to put pressure on the passer, but they're also good in the run game too. And I know number one's a D tackle that we played against last year. I thought he had a really good game against UAB as well. He's a big, strong guy that can plug the middle. They are playing with a couple of new linebackers there, but they do have some experience in the secondary. I think just overall, when you look at their team, very athletic, can really run well. I think overall as a team, they have potential to be outstanding. They really do. And, I think, we went down there last year and played them, did not play very well at all, to say the least, and really was never in that game. And, we're looking forward to the opportunity to play them again.
Coach, just to follow up on what you just
Go ahead, Cam.
Just to follow up on what you had just said about Miami, looking back on it, Coach, why do you think you guys performed the way you did last season against this team?
I don't know. That's a good question. If we knew, we wouldn't never do that again. I think, it's just one of those games that we didn't, particularly defensively. They pretty much did whatever they wanted to do against us last year. Their quarterback had a Heisman kind of day. And last year their offense really didn't put up great numbers, but they did against us. It was a tremendous day for them, and think maybe they threw 5 touchdown passes. I try to forget what happened in that day, but it was we really couldn't do anything to stop anything they did offensively. And so, I think our defense, got better after that game. Obviously, finished out the season there in the bowl game on a good note. But, they're a different offense, I think, this year, obviously, with King at quarterback because he can do so much with his legs. And they rushed the football over 300 yards the other night, first time in a long time. So, completely different offensive football team this year. So and I don't put a lot of stock in from year. We're a different team this year. They're a different team. So I mean, it's a new year, and so we have to just do a great job this week in our preparation and preparing for what they're going to give us.
Scott, Russ Brown Kentucky today. To get back to your team, I mean, you mentioned the punting situation. Will you consider trying a different punter, or what are your thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I think the other night he dropped the first one. That was his first college play, and it's raining out there, and it just so happened we're backed up, right there at the goal line. It was just kind of a freak deal. I think we hadn't had any issues in practice like that. So hopefully that was kind of a freak thing that happened. I can go back to my very first college play at App State. We ran an option play, and I fumbled the first play. And, it was at the end of the game. It was mop-up duty, so it didn't really hurt us. But, hopefully that'll be his last time that happens. We got faith in him. And, and the other issue was some protection issues. It wasn't his deal. So I think we'll go with him. We got to look at some things we're doing there and shore up some things, and we should be fine with that.
Scott, Cameron with the Courier Journal.
Gary Graves from the
Scott, Cameron from the Courier Journal. You mentioned the Air King and kind of all the dangers he gives you guys with his arm and his legs. You guys just played a Western team who had a good back in Gage Walker, and I know Pig Rome isn't De'Eric at all, but playing guys who can move and get out of the pocket like that, does that help you guys a little bit as you prepare for another potential runner or quarterback?
Well, I like to think it helped a little bit. The guy that we played against Western Kentucky, I mean, he was, looked like a running back out there. I mean, he's 210 pounds, great size, had really good running ability, and I thought our guys did a good job of containing him. He had a few good runs, but I think King's obviously, faster, quicker, more dynamic in that aspect. So, we certainly have a work cut out for us, but it really stays the same thing. I mean, you have to be fundamentally sound in your approach defensively, have to be in your gaps. You have to, really play hard, and you have to play fast. I mean, there's no question about it. This team overall is going to be a faster team. So we're going to have to play really fast, and we're going to have to, be smart and be in our gaps, and not get out of position because he'll make you pay. We saw that the other night when they played UAB.
Hey, Coach, this is Gary Graves from AP. Kind of following up on the punting, how much of some of the initial struggles were the result of just not having enough practices this spring to kind of get some things down to get that unit in sync?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think it was that. I mean, we had a long time to practice this August, and we worked on it every day. That was something that we put a lot of time and effort into. And I mean, it didn't look like we did, but we did. And we just got to go out and execute better. The bottom line, we know, if you don't get those things corrected, it's going to be something that's going to be haunting you every week. I mean, so we're going to be putting a lot more time into it this week, and get it corrected. But we have to go out and execute. Just like any offense or defense, you have to go out and execute.
Coach, this is Matt McGavick with Sports Illustrated. Miami runs a pretty up-tempo offense. I believe they ran about 78 plays against UAB. Do you think this is something that your defense is equipped to handle?
Well, yeah, I think so. We've practiced, worked on that, worked on tempo during camp. We'll obviously work on it this week. We know they're going to go fast in their approach. It's something I think if you put the time into and work on it in practice, that you're not going to be caught off guard by it. At the same time, during the game, your guys have to be focused. They have to get the call from the sideline in a timely manner and get lined up quickly. The thing that I think the tempo offenses presents problems defensively is the fact that you got to recognize formation, and by going fast, your processing has to be extremely fast because you got to recognize formation, recognize the tendencies, know they're down and distance, all that within a few seconds. And so, that in itself presents some issues. But, we'll practice it again this week, and hopefully our guys will be ready to go on Saturday night.
Coach Fred Cowgill from WLKY again. Would you talk about being ranked and what it means to the program, the fans, the community, especially with all the challenged emotional times and all that the last few months, just to have something sort of to hang your hat on?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, you think about when I got hired here in December, where we were at program-wise and what everybody wrote about us and, what everybody thought about us nationally. And to come, in about a year and a half later, we're ranked in College Game Day is going to be here. I mean, that's pretty incredible. We appreciate the fact that we are getting, the attention nationally. As far as, like I mentioned, to getting ranked and also having, College Game Day here. At the end of the day, it for us, it really doesn't. I mean, it's nice, but it really doesn't mean anything. You still got to go out and play, and you got to perform at a high level, and you got to be extremely competitive and focused on your task at hand. I mean, I think, but it's awesome. I mean, it's a great spotlight on us, our town, our city here, and our school. All week there's going to be talk about where College Game Day is going, and the media attention that we'll get is awesome. And I think that's why guys want to come play at University of Louisville. I think in recruiting, I mean, you certainly got to utilize this attention for all the guys that we're reaching out to recruiting right now that are in high school, to know that you can come here and be on a front stage and everybody see you. And I think that's the positives about this. But when they kick the ball off, Miami doesn't care that game day's here, doesn't care it's on ABC. They don't care about any of that stuff. I mean, so you got to go out there and play your game and play at a high level.
Scott, this is Ken.
WDRB.
When did you realize that Braden Smith needed to be a factor for you guys offensively? Was it in the spring, or was it not till the fall?
Well, I think in the spring, we only had half a spring, but we saw early on that he's got a lot of ability. He's very quick. He's strong athlete at receiver, and he's got really good hands. He understands football. He understands spatial awareness when running his routes. He made some big time plays for us out there last Saturday. A couple of contested catches and really big plays at critical times. Third and long, and so. Really proud of him and the way he came out and made plays for us, and sometimes I think you can come into this in the receiver room, particularly because you got, Fitzpatrick and Tutu Atwell, who's had great careers. And all of a sudden now you think maybe I don't belong. But, man, he came out from day one in the spring and really came out there and started turning heads right off the bat. He's had a really good fall camp, and it really wasn't surprising for him to go out and make plays for us Saturday.
Scott, Rick Bowes for WDRB. You mentioned what the people were saying or writing about the program when you took over. Did you think you could get it to this point in only 14 games, and how have you been able to do that?
No, I never thought about that. I never will think about that. I mean, I don't really care personally about that. I mean, I think it helps our program. It helps our recruiting, as I mentioned. But, I want to be good today. I want to do whatever I can do today to help this program. And I think if you do that and you have that mentality, that at the end of your tenure or your end of your career, you're going to look back and you can say, man, we did a lot of great things. If you're always looking at press clippings and you're looking at polls and all that stuff that really doesn't matter, then you're not focusing on what you need to focus on, and that's getting better as a football team. And that's my job as a coach, to keep our guys focused and our staff focused on what we have to do every day to get better. So there's not a timeline or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, we're just trying to put a good product on the field, and we work hard at that every single day, and we hope it's good enough to go out there and play and compete and win games.
Scott, Jody Demling with CardinalAuthority.com. What, after watching the film, kind of your assessment of the line, because Western was obviously loading up the box and trying to stop the run. How do you feel like the line did as an overall, though?
I thought they had a solid outing. I think number 10 is a really, really good football player, that defensive end. He's as fast as anybody will play. We're going to play some great defensive ends this year that we play in the ACC. So we know we're never going to be able to have to face that. And again, this weekend we got a couple of great ones. So, but I think what he presents, the problems with so much speed, and he has some great length. But I thought our guys played up pretty good overall. I thought Renato Brown at right tackle for his first start played outstanding. He has got great feet. He's going to be a really, really good player for us. I think our veterans up front, as you look in the middle three, I think they had a solid outing. Could they have played better? Absolutely. and I think they will play better as we move forward. But, you mentioned it. They were loading up the box. They had everybody in there. I think that's why we were able to hit some of these throws down the field. But we got to be able to run the football when they have got a bunch of guys in the box. And I think, we put that on our offensive line, our tight ends as a, an idea of, like, listen, it doesn't matter how many guys we have right there. We're going to run the football. That's a mentality we got to have. And so we'll get better, I think. But I think overall it's a very solid performance by the guys up front. And, we had the one sack there backed up, which was obviously not very good. But I think last year we gave up maybe 5 sacks to Western Kentucky. So I think it's certainly an improvement.
Hey, Coach, Andy Sweeney here with ESPN Louisville. Mikhail Cunningham, how did he come through the game health-wise? And then secondly, at the end of the game, you're obviously trying to score. What were you trying to kind of do there instead of kneeling where he may have, got nicked up a little bit?
He's fine. We're just running our offense. I mean, we're out there in the game, and, it was a 14-point game. We got the ball back with 5.5 minutes right there at midfield. So we were obviously trying to go down and score. You don't want to give them the ball back. If you guys were here last year against Wake Forest, I mean, things can happen so fast. I mean, with 5 minutes is eternity. So we were trying to take the ball down and score, which we ended up running the clock down all the way down, which was awesome. Very similar to last year when we played Western Kentucky. Very similar. The score was about the same, and we finished up around the 5-yard line last year playing these guys. So, we were just trying to run the clock out and get some points on the board at the end. And, part of when he ran it one time was a zone read. It was an option for him. He could have handed it off. He decided to pull it, and that's when he ended up getting hit out of bounds over there to the left sideline. So that's just part of our offense, and, it comes with the territory. But we're trying to win the football game and finish it out.
Scott, Tim Sullivan with the Courier-Journal. With the Big Ten presidents possibly reconsidering playing this fall and some of the cancellations we saw this past weekend with Virginia Tech and Virginia, TCU, SMU. What is your general comfort level about just day to day, week to week, about getting these games in?
It's day to day. You said it. I mean, we're trying to. We came in. We tested this morning as a football team. We're going to test Wednesday. We're going to test Friday. You never know when your team's going to be affected by that, whether it be you test positive and or if your contact tracing gets involved. So you really never know. I mean, we're just taking it day by day. I mean, we hope we get all our games in. That's the plan right now, obviously. And but we take it day by day and week by week. So we'll see where this week ends up once we get to game day, and we'll see if it affected any of our players. Same with Miami. But hopefully you get to game day. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, it's going to be week to week for everybody in all these teams, and I think that's why we've got our schedule set the way it is, where you have a couple of bye weeks where you can, maybe postpone this game and we'll move it to here, just like we saw with Virginia Tech last week. And ACC has already moved around a couple of games with that. I think that's going to be, a thing that we're going to have to get accustomed to, because it's probably the reality of this year.
Before the game, it was announced that you had all the players on the dress list were available. Is there something you're doing specific that maybe gives you a little better control of the COVID than some other teams?
Well, I don't know that we're doing anything different. I think, one of the things that our living situation here is that most all of our guys have their own room with their own bathroom. And that makes a huge difference where, if you're an old conventional dorm where, you have a roommate and maybe you have suite mates and we're all kind of in the same room. And if somebody tests positive, then it's pretty much going to wipe out that whole room with the contact tracing. So, if you're isolated in your own rooms, maybe that helps out a little bit. But other than that, it's all the protocols that we have going on in our building here. And, where everybody's masked up, the way we meet, we're 6 feet apart. I mean, the way we eat. So all the protocols we're doing, it seems to be working for us. And I think also the buy-in that our guys have. I mean, it's the purpose that they have, because they want to come out and play on the weekend. So therefore, they're not going out and spending time, out with a lot of people and the masses to where they could get, in contact with somebody that has the virus. I mean, so and every day we're reminding these guys of that. So our guys have just done a good job with that. I mean, obviously we got to continue to do that because it only takes one or two guys, and next thing you know, that can spread through teams, and we've seen that happen this year.
Jody, again, you mentioned recruiting. You've mentioned recruiting several times. This normally would be a huge recruiting weekend with game day here and with Miami and a night game. How much will that affect that you can't have guys on campus right now? And I know you have to do other things, don't you, to try to get the attention of those kids?
Oh yeah, it's that's one of the negative effects of what's going on right now. We'd love to be able to invite 200 prospects in here this weekend to be able to see the environment here of a full Cardinal Stadium. I mean, it would be unbelievable, but that's just not where we are right now. So we're doing different things. We're using technology. We've talked about the Zoom meetings that we've had. We continue to have them on a weekly basis with our recruits. Our recruiting staff and our coaches are walking around with FaceTime and trying to show the guys kind of what it's like on game day and those type things. I mean, it's just it's different. It's different for all these guys. Fortunately, they're able to watch the TV and watch us play, but you'd love to be able to see them in person, to come out here and hang out and be a part of this. I mean, but that's just not feasible right now for anybody. I mean, for any of these recruits. I hate it for the high school guys that can't come to the colleges and actually, get a feel for everything. And this is for all the colleges, not just us. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. I mean, and who knows, this whole year we may not be able to host any recruits, all the way up till December. So, we just don't know right now, and that makes it very difficult for these high school players and their parents.
Scott Cameron with the Courier Journal. Obviously, you guys came out of the other tunnel yesterday, last game, with the BLM flag, and you guys have kind of started videos and things like the Vote for Change stuff on social media. There's obviously responses, both positive and negative, when you guys do stuff like that. Kind of what is your reaction when you see some of or hear some of the negative responses from people, and do you talk to your guys at all about how to handle some of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're, Cameron, we met this summer a bunch, and our team came up with a lot of different things that they wanted to do. I mean, they want to make an impact. They want to make a positive impact. Nothing that we're doing here are we trying to be political. And I've seen some comments about, hey, politics needs to stay out of sports. We're not trying to be political here in any aspect. I know that comes across to some people. They think that, but that's not what we're doing. We're just trying to make a positive impact in our community right here in Louisville. And these are 18 to 22-year-old guys that really don't know how to make an impact. But for them, it's through social media, which you mentioned that we're putting out videos every Monday. We're picking a position group, and they're kind of sharing their heart. But everything we're trying to do here is obviously support our players, but trying to make a positive impact. That's it. And I hate it that if some people think that it's negative, some of the things that we're doing, we have no intentions of being negative. We're trying to promote unity. We're trying to promote oneness, just like we do in our building. And, if the world was a lot more like what we have in our building here, it'd be a much better place. But that's all we're trying to do. We don't want to have make any political statement or any of that kind of stuff. We're trying to be positive. And really just show that if we loved each other, we'd be a lot better place.
All right. Anything else for Coach before we wrap up today?
Yeah, Stephen, I got one more. Scott, back to a football topic. I know the guys have talked a lot about not really thinking much about game day and wanting to get this win. With the way the game went last year, you feel like these guys have a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, feel like they have something more to prove in Saturday's game?
Well, I mean, I think probably just human nature, that's going to be the case. But like I mentioned earlier, it's a different team. They have a different team. We have a different team. So, obviously they're going to remember the ones that made the trip last year. They're going to remember that feeling in the locker room. I mean, it was very disappointing the way we came out and played. So hopefully our guys would learn in preparation what we did last year and maybe tweak some things this year. And then also, I just thought maybe before the game we're a little bit too hype. I mean, too into it, let the emotions take over, and then therefore you don't play well. You don't utilize your assignments and everything that you did that week. So I would hope we could take that part of it, and it would help us to apply this year. But again, it's all about our preparation this year. They got a different team. We got a different team. Let's go out and put the work in this week, and let's see what happens. But we're just looking forward to going out and playing, and hopefully we'll get to the game. Like I said, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so let's make the most of it.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap up on that. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Enjoy your days.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.